Welcome to Lose Weight Naturally. I'm Dr. David DeRose, a board-certified specialist in internal medicine and preventive medicine. I'm the president of Compass Health Consulting, but most importantly, I'm your host on this edition of LifeStart seminars. You know, it's a topic that's really captured the attention of much of the Western world, especially in the United States. For what we have seen is a growing girth of Americans. Depending on what criteria you use, the vast majority of us are either overweight or frankly obese. But there is good news. There are simple things that we can do, natural strategies that can help you lose weight. Some years ago, I had the privilege of being the medical director of a large hospital-based weight loss program. I left that experience convinced that there were a number of simple keys to weight control that can make a vast difference. Many of you who may be tuning in to this presentation just have never had lasting success when it comes to weight reduction. I'm going to give you some keys that will help you hopefully make a difference for the rest of your life in trimming down and keeping those pounds off. Let's launch into our presentation. I'm going to give you, as we begin, first 7 keys to weight loss. Then we'll go from there and we'll look from a little bit different perspective at an overlapping construct. What we'll be doing is actually looking at 2 different ways of conceptualizing natural approaches to weight loss, and you'll see that they'll come together, hopefully, in a seamless fashion that will leave you encouraged that once and for all, you can make a run at this and be successful. First of all, let me tell you the single most important principle, at least in my mind, as we begin, and it is this: don't focus on diets. Focus on habits. You see, many of you, if you've struggled with your weight over the years, have jumped from one weight loss diet to another. It's something that just the way you approach it, just the way it's presented to our culture, it's something that no one thinks is really going to be permanent. They say, okay, do this special diet, you'll lose X number of pounds in so many days, and it may even happen. But the problem is, if you don't change your habits, you're actually likely to end up with the very same behaviors that got you into the problems in the first place. And by the way, this is a point worth emphasizing. Those of you that are challenged on this front, I'm not pointing a finger saying you've got bad habits. I'm going to just be honest with you. There are a lot of people that are carrying a lot of excess weight who are more health conscious and following a better lifestyle than many people who are thin, because there are genetic factors that predispose to obesity and overweight. There are also early life history factors that predispose to obesity. By that I mean simply this: early in your childhood, well, do you want me to be honest with you? Even before you were born, in your mother's womb, you were being influenced, metabolically influenced and programmed to either be more or less likely to be overweight when you got older. That's right. The same is true of diabetes and high blood pressure and many other conditions. What happens in the womb is of profound importance. So the reason I'm telling you this is many times people think when we speak about weight control and when I speak about the power of lifestyle change and the power of healthy habits, people think I'm pointing fingers at them. That's as far as we can go from where I want to go in this presentation. Because as I'm trying to help you see, for many individuals, it's not their fault that they have weight issues. They were predisposed to these problems. And even if there are lifestyle factors that are perpetuating the overweight or obese state, it is not a reason for judgmentalism. So, even though the first point is focusing on habits, not diets, I'm trying to give you a corollary here, an important one. Don't look at weight as being a value judgment. Just because you're bigger than someone else doesn't make you any less valuable and does not mean that you are any less conscientious about your health than that person who's thin. And sometimes the worst part of it is that person who's thin is your own spouse or your own significant other or your own brother or sister, perhaps even worse. Even if you were born in the same family, you are genetically different and there were different factors operating in the womb. And they say, wait a minute, Dr. DeRose, I am an identical twin. We were in the same womb at the same time, we have the same genetics, and I'm overweight and my twin is thin. Well, yes, there are other early life history factors that are important beside just what happened in the womb. That's right. Things that happen in your early childhood actually can predispose you to being heavier or thinner. Focus on habits, not diets. You may be predisposed to be overweight. You may be predisposed to have challenges with your weight, but you can still overcome it by starting to identify habits, what's going to be different. Here's how I put it. When I speak with my patients and when I give lectures on this topic, I tell people I would be happier if you made one change that you're planning to stick with for the rest of your life than if you made 100 lifestyle changes that you had no intention of following long term. Do you understand my point? We've got to change the equation. Regardless of whether you're predisposed to obesity or not, you're here in this situation. You're carrying the excess weight. You've got to do something differently if the weight's going to come off and stay off. Point number 2, never make weight loss your sole focus. They might say, wait a minute, you're talking about a weight loss program. Lose weight naturally. That's what you've built this presentation as. And now your second point is don't make weight loss my focus. Now wait a minute. I said don't make weight loss your sole focus. You understand the difference? Here's where I'm going with this. Let me tell you a real life story that played out many times before my eyes when I was heading up that medically supervised weight loss program at a big hospital system. We'd have people come in and I'd do an initial evaluation. And let's say I'm talking with a woman across from me. And a hypothetical situation, she's 5'4", she weighs 300 pounds. One of the things I'd ask her is I'd say, at the end of this program, what is your goal? What do you want to weigh? And she'd say, I want to weigh 120 pounds. Let's say she's 30 years of age. You got the picture? 300 pounds, 30-year-old woman, 5'4". I say, why do you want to weigh 120 pounds? She'd say, I looked in the tables, and that's what you're supposed to weigh. My next door neighbor is 5'4". My sister's 5'4". They both weigh 120 pounds. I want to weigh 120 pounds. Now here's the key question that I would then ask. When was the last time you weighed 120 pounds? I was probably maybe 8 years old. 8 years old? Are any of you making a connection here? This person has been obese all their life. The odds of them getting down to a, quote, ideal weight of 120 at 5'4" is very, very unlikely. But the likelihood of their being able to lose 100 pounds, 120 pounds, maybe even 150 pounds and keep it off is actually very likely. But if you are so focused on a certain number, I saw it happen with my own eyes. Someone would lose lots of weight. They would be a tremendous success. But maybe that 5'4" woman does get down to 150, but she can't get down to 140. She can't get anywhere close to 120. And she's starving herself. She's exercising 4 hours a day. She's eating 400 calories a day. What happens before too long? She says, forget it. I'm never going to get down to 120 pounds. Just forget this whole nonsense about weight loss. I mean, listen, she's lost 150 pounds. But she throws in the towel. She stops exercising. She throws away the whole diet, and she goes right back to the same lifestyle that had her at 300 pounds. But this time, She ends up at 340 pounds. Can you relate? Don't make weight loss your sole focus. I'm going to walk you through a number of lifestyle strategies that can help you be successful. And hey, this is as good a time as any to roll it out. This is one in a series of life-changing seminars where you can take charge of your life. We call it the LifeStart series, LifeStart seminars. If you've never heard of LifeStart before, we've got a free ebook for you that walks you through what the LifeStart program includes. You can get it very simply just by going online to lifestartseminars.com. It'll walk you through 9 essential elements that can help you stop disease in its tracks, reverse disease processes, live longer, lose weight. It's a consistent program. It's been demonstrated. It's been medically documented. So I recommend that resource to you. Also, as we're going through this material, I want to tell you there's other things available free of charge on the LifeStart Seminars website, including a program guide, walking you through the very things that I'm sharing with you now in this presentation. So we've given you a couple of points. You got an idea of somewhat where we're going. I'm going to give you now some more key weight loss keys. You say, that sounds redundant, Dr. DeRose. Well, hey, they're keys. They've got to be important. They've got to be key. First one, you got it, right? Focus on habits, not diets. Second, never make weight loss your sole focus. The third one now is don't be afraid to make lifestyle changes. This LifeStart mnemonic, I'll tell you what it's about, and then we'll highlight some of them because some of them are actually some of these very keys that we're going to be talking about. LifeStart is an acronym. It's a memory device for 9 essential life-changing practices. L stands for liquids. I stands for interpersonal relationships. F stands for foods, our nutritional choices. E stands for exercise. S stands for sunlight. T for temperance. A for air. R for rest. And T for trust in divine power. That's a quick overview. Don't be afraid about any of the things I just mentioned. Don't be afraid of their implications. Say, listen, I'm going to be willing to listen to what Dr. DeRose has to say and seriously consider each of these key factors because I want to get on top of this weight issue once and for all. By the way, I'm just going to mention one other thing right here. I know this may sound crazy, but the very same factors I'm talking about, if you're underweight, can actually help you lose weight. You say, how can that be? Just hang in there, and we'll walk you through this, and you're going to see that this is exciting about optimizing your body weight. Here's our fourth of the 7 weight loss keys, and it's simply this. It's right at the heart of the LifeStart acronym, and it's at the heart of these 7 keys. It is to do one thing on a regular basis. Now, it's not the only thing, but this one thing I want you to do on a daily basis, and that is to exercise. That's right. Move those legs. Move the arms. I mean, whatever it takes, I want you to exercise on a daily basis. Use large muscle groups and just do it. You've heard that saying. You say, well, Dr. DeRose, you don't realize I'm wheelchair bound. That's why I have problems. Well, then use your arms. You say, Dr. DeRose, you don't understand. I've got shoulder injuries. I can't do much with my arms. Well, then use your legs. Now, we're not talking about the person in the wheelchair. I'm giving you 2 different examples. Do something on a regular basis. If you're not sure what that looks like, talk with a health professional. Get an exercise prescription. If you have worries about the safety of exercise for you, talk with someone. But physical activity is key. Here's what I often say to my patients and in lectures that I give on this topic. I say, just stop and think for a minute. Are you going to eat today? Or people say, am I going to eat today? Of course I'm going to eat today. Are you going to sleep tonight? Well, some people say, well, I don't know. I mean, I have insomnia. Maybe I won't be able to sleep tonight. Here's where I'm going with this. When I talk with people, it's a given that they're going to eat every day and they're going to sleep every night. Now, sure, a person can decide to fast for a day. A person may decide to stay up all night. They may have insomnia and can't sleep. Sure. But the point I'm getting at is it's a given, it's another day. Unless you consciously make a decision not to do it, you're planning to eat and you're planning to sleep. I tell people it should be the same with exercise. It's another day. I am going to eat, I'm going to sleep, and I am going to exercise. You've got it. Make exercise a daily priority. And here's one of the ways you do it. Even if you're feeling bad, even if you don't have much time, even if you've got a cold, do something. This helps to perpetuate the habit. If you don't know about these dynamics of making new habits and sticking with them, let me tell you, we've got a resource on our LifeStartSeminars.com website that'll help you. It's my mini series, my DVD series called Changing Bad Habits for Good. 2 half-hour presentations that give you the foundations of lifestyle change. But whether it's that resource that you take advantage of or just catching the concept as I'm explaining it to you, if you make a daily commitment to something, do it. Do something that looks like it. Do something that you call exercise so that you get into the routine of another day to exercise. Key point number 5, make clean breaks with problem foods. Now sometimes we say, hey, come on, there's all kinds of addictions in life, but my addiction is food. I've heard so many people tell me that. They say, listen, it's not fair. The alcoholic, they can make a clean break with alcohol. The nicotine addict, they can make a clean break with nicotine. But I'm a foodaholic, Dr. DeRose. I cannot make a clean break with food. You got to eat. And I say, wait. Just wait. You really have a problem overeating everything? Oh, yes, Dr. DeRose. Do you overeat on broccoli at breakfast? Really, I've asked people that. I've never had any one of them tell me that. I think one person told me they overate on broccoli, but I don't think it was at breakfast. The whole point is this. It's not all foods that people overeat. There are specific foods that tend to be problem foods for specific people. I'll tell you what some of the common ones are. I've worked with hundreds of people, thousands of people over the years, and they've told me what they are. For some people, it's the sweets. And it may be a specific sweet food. It may be ice cream. It may be chocolate. You say, but Dr. DeRose, dairy products are good for you. Chocolate has antioxidants. Hey, listen, please. Don't try to tell yourself that the problem foods that are undermining your resolve, that are contributing to your weight gain, are good for you. I'm not telling you that no one can eat chocolate, that no one can have dairy products or ice cream. That's not the point I'm making. But if you have a problem with a certain food, the only success is in making clean breaks with it. Let me illustrate it this way. And this tells you how you know whether a food's a problem food or not. If you're that person who says, oh, I don't have a problem with chocolate, and you buy one of those chocolate samplers, and after a few days of having that chocolate sampler in your pantry for a special occasion, you say, you know, I think I'm going to just try one of those chocolates. And you try it, and you think it's really good. You say, hey, well, you know, I had one, I already opened the package, might as well have another. Before you know it, the whole box is polished off. This is indicating you've got a problem with chocolate. Did you see how it works? Or you're the person who says, hey, I talked with the dietitian, Dr. DeRose. They said I can have 1 tablespoon of ice cream after each meal, and it won't mess up my diet. Well, if you can have 1 tablespoon of ice cream and you're losing weight and the dietitian's happy with you, I'm not going to interfere with your relationship. But if you have that 1 tablespoon of ice cream, and the next thing you know, you have a 2nd tablespoon, and before it's all finished, a whole half gallon of ice cream is gone. Believe me, you have a problem with ice cream, and the solution is not cutting back. Now, I know there's a few people out there, I've met them over the years, that say, Dr. DeRose, if I can just have a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of ice cream, a little bit of this, then I'm totally satisfied and I don't have to have any more. Well, these people don't have a problem of the magnitude I'm speaking about. It's not an addictive relationship, if you want to use that terminology. But when it comes to addictions, success comes in making clean breaks. And even if you want to say it's not an addiction, if you can't control your consumption of chips or of ice cream or of chocolate or of 100 other things, then I'm trying to tell you the freeing solution is to make a clean break. By the way, in that LifeStart acronym, there's a T. There's actually 2 T's in it. The first T stands for temperance. Temperance is moderation in things that are good, but total avoidance of things that are harmful. If potato chips are a problem food for you, you can't just have a few of them. I'm telling you, make a clean break with them. You say, but Dr. DeRose, how can I make a clean break with my favorite food? Listen, here's how it works. At first, the hardest thing to do is make a clean break, but in the long term, it's the easiest thing. Listen, we can't spend too much more time with this. If you want more material on the power of clean breaks, the power of developing new habits, it's that resource I already mentioned, Changing Bad Habits for Good. But we need to hasten on to our 6th point. If you want to optimize your weight, you want to eat a good breakfast. Do you notice the terminology I used? Optimizing your weight. If you're underweight, one of the things that may be at the root of your low weight is you're not taking enough time to eat. I've seen it time and time again. People are rushed. They're driven. They're very thin. In fact, they're so thin that it's unhealthy. The way to address that is take time to eat meals, and the best time to start is at breakfast. I mean, just think about it. Get up earlier so you've got enough time to sit down and eat a leisurely meal without feeling rushed. Eating a good breakfast is a boon to someone who is thin. It can help you maintain a healthier weight. But it's also powerful for individuals who are overweight. Research has been conducted for years looking at what has been called a meal reversal schedule. That terminology comes from the fact that most Americans historically have eaten the bulk of their calories late in the day. If you switch that around, you reverse it, and you eat the bulk of your calories early in the day, the whole equation changes. You see, if you meet me in the morning, I may look like the same person that you see later that night, but metabolically, I'm different. It's the same with you. Metabolically, you are a different person in the morning than you are in the evening. In the morning, your metabolism is geared to burn calories. It's geared to burn fat. It's geared to get you going and to be productive and to perform. Later in the day, metabolically, you are geared to do something different. Metabolically, you are geared to build up your body from the wear and tear of the day. That includes building up your fat stores. And so when you eat a lot of calories at night, you are predisposing those calories to be shifted into weight gain. Eat a good breakfast. Don't snack. Cut down on the size of that evening meal, and you will find one of the secrets to weight control. Let me just be honest with you. Some of my patients over the years, the single most powerful thing for them as far as lifestyle changes was totally leaving off the evening meal. If you've got to eat something at night and you realize that that's a real tough time for you, it's really contributing to your weight, then go with leaf, stem, and flower vegetables. These are low in calories. If you have diabetes, they tend not to raise your blood sugar. What do I mean by leaf, stem, and flower vegetables? I'm talking about spinach. I'm talking about lettuce. I'm talking about kale, collard greens. Those are all leaf vegetables. What about stem and flower vegetables? What are those? We're talking broccoli. We're talking cauliflower. We're talking celery. You get the picture? Eat those vegetables in the evening, and they will tend not to raise your blood sugar, and they will tend to help you with weight loss. Our 7th point, eat to satisfy simple hunger. Don't try to eat to satisfy appetite. There's a vast difference between hunger and appetite. Hunger is a physiologic need for food that your brain senses. Your brain's saying, I gotta eat. What's appetite then? Appetite is the desire for food that may or may not be in harmony with hunger. Here's the message. Appetite is typically not satisfied as long as there's palatable foods around and you're not totally stuffed. Problem is, most of us eat for appetite. hunger is satisfied, usually, a ways into the meal. But most of us keep eating until either the food runs out or we're embarrassed to eat more in a social situation, or we just simply can't hold anymore. We have then overeaten. Eat to satisfy simple hunger, not appetite. If you want to learn more about these principles, we've got other resources at the LifeStart Seminars website. Check out my materials on diabetes, my materials on behavior change. But we've got more than that for you at LifeStartSeminars.com. We have got personalized help. There are people available to coach you through some of these simple habits. You say, well, Dr. DeRose, you've given us 7 keys. You also threw out these 9 LifeStart concepts. I see how some of them dovetail. You promised me that they'd all come together before we finished. And I saw you mentioned exercise. You talked about temperance. Yeah, you mentioned some things that had a bearing on dietary choices, but I don't see the whole big picture. Let me put it very simply for you. As you walk through those 9 elements, as you find ways to connect with people, and by the way, one of the best ways to connect with people, that's the I for interpersonal relationships, is to do it in the context of health-enhancing behaviors. I want to just encourage you to make a commitment to go through the entire series of free seminars that we have on the LifeStart website. That's right. LifeStartSeminars.com has a whole series of free seminars. I walk you through a variety of topics. Go through those. But don't do it on your own. Go through it with someone else. Find a place in your community that's offering the seminars. The website will actually show you if there's some place near you that's on this journey with you as well. And connect with people. It's going to make a big difference in contributing to your success. And then let me make one other point, because there's a lot of elements in LifeStart that we've talked about. We haven't been able to expand on them all in this 30-minute focused presentation. But we've got a free ebook that walks you through the LifeStart mnemonic. Take advantage of that. Log into the website, and we'll put that free ebook in your hands. Just give you a clearer idea of what all LifeStart involves. And don't forget the free program resources. Beside that, there's a host of other resources that can help you have the tools, not only to lose weight, but to live longer and better. After all, that's what LifeStart Seminars is about. It's about giving you a new start on your life, putting you in the driver's seat. You're not the victim of your genetics, your early life history. You can be a success. For all of us with LifeStart Seminars, I'm Dr. David DeRose, confident that if you start moving in the direction of LifeStart, you indeed will have a new start for the rest of your life.